We all went upstairs. He wiped away his tears.
Let me say good after late afternoon. Because of the HIV virus that I have.
Magic Johnson confirmed today that he has the AIDS virus. He becomes a statistic.
I just want to say that I'm gonna miss playing, and I will now become a spokesman for the HIV virus.
At 66, Magic Johnson has built a fortune that rivals what he lost. But the truth about that famous mistake is even bigger than you've heard. Everyone talks about the $1.5 billion he missed when he turned down Nike stock as a rookie. The real number? $5 billion. That's 125 times what he earned in his entire NBA career. And somehow that disaster became the blueprint for one of the greatest business comebacks in sports history. Back in 1979, Magic Johnson had just won a national championship and was entering the NBA. 3 shoe companies wanted him. Converse offered the most cash. Adidas made a pitch. Then Nike, still a young company, came with a different idea. Phil Knight, who started Nike, told Magic he couldn't match the money. Instead, he offered stock in the company. Magic took the cash from Converse. Why? He grew up broke. His family didn't have money. He didn't even know what stocks were at the time. When you come from nothing, a guaranteed paycheck feels a lot safer than a gamble on some unknown company. So he grabbed the sure thing. That Nike stock he passed on would be worth $5 billion today. To understand how massive that is, consider this. Magic made $40 million during his entire playing career. The stock would have been worth 125 times that amount. He would have earned it without lifting a finger. No practice, no games, no injuries, just holding onto those shares for 45 years. It's the kind of mistake that could haunt someone forever. But Magic saw it differently. He called it the most expensive education possible, and he used that lesson to build something even more valuable. That mistake taught Magic one critical thing. Ownership beats endorsements. Instead of just putting his name on products, he needed to own the businesses themselves. So he founded Magic Johnson Enterprises, or MJE, in 1987. The strategy was simple but powerful. He would invest in urban communities that big investors ignored, places where people looked like him, neighborhoods that corporations thought were too risky. Magic knew better. He saw potential where others saw problems. To understand why this approach was revolutionary, you need to know the context. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, major corporations avoided inner-city neighborhoods. They believed these areas were too dangerous or too poor to generate profits. Banks wouldn't invest there. Retail chains wouldn't open stores there. It was a form of economic abandonment. Magic recognized this as an opportunity. These communities had millions of consumers who were being ignored. They had spending power. They just needed businesses willing to serve them. Magic decided he would be that business. His first major move proved the concept worked. In 1998, he partnered with Starbucks. The coffee giant wanted to expand into inner cities but didn't know how. Magic did. He eventually owned around 125 Starbucks stores in urban areas. In 2010, he sold 105 of them for about $100 million. The deal proved that these communities weren't risky at all. They were gold mines that everyone else was too afraid to touch. Then he went bigger, much bigger. Magic created the Canyon Johnson Urban Fund in 2001. This wasn't small-time investing anymore. By 2008, the fund raised $1 billion from pension funds and major investors. Magic was now moving the kind of money that could transform entire neighborhoods. One deal shows how smart he had become. His fund bought the Transamerica Center complex in downtown Los Angeles for $100 million. After renovating it, they sold it for $205 million. That's a $105 million profit on one building. But Magic wanted more than real estate. He wanted the same kind of ownership he turned down from Nike, so he set his sights on sports teams. In 2012, he joined a group that bought the Los Angeles Dodgers for $2 billion. In 2014, he grabbed stakes in the LA Sparks and Los Angeles FC. Then in 2023, he made his biggest move yet. He joined the group that bought the Washington Commanders for $6.05 billion. The man who once didn't understand stocks now co-owned 3 major sports franchises. He also made sure he controlled his deals. When he partnered with Sodexo in 2006 to create Sodexo Magic, a food services company, Magic demanded 51% ownership. He wasn't going to be a junior partner anymore. He learned that lesson the hard way back in 1979. Now he was in charge. Every deal showed that Magic had completely reinvented himself. He went from athlete to mogul, from endorser to owner, from someone who took cash over equity to someone who only wanted equity. This is the perfect moment to pause and think about other athletes who might have similar stories. Do you know any legendary players who missed huge financial opportunities but turned things around? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this story, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next video. Magic's business empire was impressive, but his second major crisis would define him in a completely different way. On November 7, 1991, Magic shocked the world. He announced that he had tested positive for HIV and was retiring from the NBA immediately. The news hit like a bomb. In 1991, most people thought HIV and AIDS were the same thing. They believed it only affected gay men and drug users. It was seen as a death sentence. Magic Johnson was none of those things. He was a heterosexual superstar, young, healthy, at the peak of his fame, and now he was supposedly dying. His announcement did something incredible. It forced America to have an honest conversation about HIV. People realized the virus didn't care who you were, it could affect anyone. Magic's diagnosis shattered the stigma overnight. Suddenly, HIV wasn't just a problem for certain groups, it was everyone's problem. The impact was immediate and measurable. In November 1991, the same month Magic made his announcement, HIV testing in New York City surged by 60%. Testing centers across the country were overwhelmed. People who never thought about getting tested suddenly lined up. The demand was so high that centers had to switch from walk-ins to appointments. But the effect didn't last long. Research showed that most of the increased awareness faded within 3 weeks. People went back to their normal lives. The spike in testing dropped off. That taught Magic another lesson. A celebrity announcement can start a conversation, but real change requires long-term work. He would need to keep fighting for decades, not just weeks. The fear around HIV was still massive. Even though Magic announced his diagnosis, many people didn't understand how the virus spread. In 1992, he was voted to the NBA All-Star team. Fans wanted to see him play. But when he tried to return to the Lakers for the 1992-93 season, some players panicked. They worried about blood on the court. They talked about freak accidents. What if Magic got cut during a game? What if his blood touched someone else? The fear was real even though it was based on misinformation. The American Medical Association had to step in. M. Roy Schwartz, a vice president at the AMA, called the reaction another example of panic and prejudice toward people with HIV. The medical community made it clear. The risk of getting HIV from playing basketball was so low it couldn't even be measured statistically. HIV spreads through sexual contact and sharing needles, not through sports, but the damage was done. Magic didn't want to hurt the game. He said he wouldn't ruin what Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, and he had worked so hard to build. So he walked away, again. That sacrifice turned Magic into something bigger than a basketball player. He became a symbol, someone who put others first even when it cost him everything. And he didn't stop there. In 1991, right after his diagnosis, Magic created the Magic Johnson Foundation. At first, it focused only on HIV and AIDS. The foundation's mission was clear: fund programs that educated people, provide outreach, offer prevention services, support health and social services, and do it all in the same urban communities where MJE was investing. That's the genius of Magic's strategy. His business empire and his charity work fed each other. MJE built economic infrastructure in underserved neighborhoods. The foundation built trust and addressed health barriers in those same places. Together, they created a powerful cycle. Magic wasn't just making money in these communities, he was improving lives. That combination gave him credibility that money alone could never buy. The foundation targeted cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, and Washington, D.C. These were the exact same markets where his business ventures operated. By helping these communities through philanthropy first, Magic earned their trust. Then when MJE brought in retail stores, real estate projects, and other business ventures, people welcomed them. They knew Magic genuinely cared about their well-being. This dual approach created something unique in American business. Magic wasn't just another rich athlete trying to get richer. He was solving real problems. His foundation addressed healthcare gaps while his businesses created jobs and brought quality services to neighborhoods that desperately needed them. It was capitalism with a conscience, and it worked better than anyone expected. Communities that other investors saw as liabilities, Magic saw as assets. He proved that doing good and doing well in business weren't opposites. They could work together. Magic's story also highlights the importance of medical progress. His personal physician was Dr. David Ho, a pioneer in HIV treatment. Dr. Ho helped develop combination drug therapy in the mid-1990s. This breakthrough turned HIV from a death sentence into a manageable chronic condition. Magic's survival became living proof that the new treatments worked. Every year he stayed healthy, he gave hope to millions of people living with HIV. Today, at 66, Magic is vibrant. He's active. He's thriving. His health shows that with proper care, people with HIV can live long, full lives. He's been publicly sharing his health journey for over 3 decades. That kind of visibility matters. It fights stigma, it educates people. It reminds the world that HIV is no longer what it was in 1991. Magic turned his diagnosis into a mission, and that mission has saved lives. Magic Johnson's story isn't about failure, it's about transformation. His $5 billion Nike mistake taught him the value of ownership, so he built Magic Johnson Enterprises into a multi-billion-dollar empire. He bought sports teams. He invested in underserved communities. He proved that the neighborhoods everyone else ignored were actually gold mines. His HIV diagnosis could have destroyed him. Instead, he used it to educate the world. He started a foundation. He became a voice for people living with HIV. He showed that the disease was manageable, not a death sentence. In the end, Magic created something more valuable than passive wealth. He built active wealth through hard work and smart investments. He earned moral capital by turning his pain into purpose. The $5 billion he lost doesn't define him. What defines him is what he did next. He turned two of the worst moments of his life into the foundation of his legacy. That's the real story of Magic Johnson. Not the mistakes, but the comebacks. Magic Johnson's journey proves that greatness isn't about avoiding failure, it's about how you respond when things go wrong. If his story inspired you, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of legendary athletes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.